Yeah, they'll be the best easily. They are solid across the board, personnel-wise. Really good statistically. I think they're in the top 2 or 3. I think about everything in our conference, and a lot of the stuff top 10 nationally. So they're really stout against the run. Scoring defense is real low. They'll be the best defense we've faced.
They lead the Big Ten in interceptions or tied, and they're second with sacks. How much of a test is going to be for the passing game specifically, and how do you combat that?
Yeah, I think you have to really, be smart about the protections that you use. And the route selection. There's the patterns downfield. You need to have some protection in there, and if you're going to try to push it, and you got to be smart about it too, and not give up hits, sacks. Try to force balls into tough situations. They've got They do a nice job in coverage and changing things up. So it's going to be smart about the planning and make sure we're putting the quarterback and the offense in good situations.
Hey Danny, does 11 will he follow around Stanley, or does he stay on one side?
Yeah, he hasn't done that. I can't say that he won't, but I don't probably see that happening.
He'll stay on one side.
Yeah, and they may, some teams will change it up and say we want to put an extra or a specific guy on him. So that wouldn't surprise me, but that hasn't been their deal really.
How much of an advantage has it been facing the 3-4 for the last 6 months?
Yeah.
And what are some of the things that Diaco's thrown at you guys that makes you prepared more for this content?
Yeah, I think just the fact that you're seeing a 3-4 through fall camp. I've kind of felt that it's been easier to go transition from playing a 3-4 team to a 4-3 game in a week than it is to go the other way. So I think it's been a real advantage, a real help for us. Out of the 3-4, you can really get a bunch of different combinations of pressures. And so we've seen a lot of that throughout the last couple months. We've seen whether it's been a game plan deal that they've been working on or something in fall camp. So I think having all that experience, all that work against the 3-4 has been really good. It's been helpful for us early in the season, not having to make that transition so quickly during just a game week.
Do you thank Bob for some of the things that he's done, or is it frustrating?
No, I think we've had a lot of good work. We've had a lot of show periods where we've had kind of a mixture of, he might need something, he might need to see some different looks, we might need to see something, so we work together that way, and then some periods we just roll the ball out there and play and adjust to whatever we see. So I think it's been good work for both sides really since the beginning of spring ball.
I asked this question to Coach Riley earlier today. Obviously, Chris was part of his coaching tree, offensive coordinator like you are now. So some of the offense must be very similar between Nebraska and Wisconsin. But what are some of the differences? Like, what are some of the differences in what you see that Wisconsin does versus what you guys do? What are some of the similarities?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities formationally, the way they change personnel. We're pretty multiple. People call probably both systems a pro style. I would say it's more multiple than pro style, just because we're in 3 wide receiver sets a lot. We're in spread formations. So we'll both do that. I think just being together for a period of time, you're going to use some similar terminology, but you're always evolving, and that's going back quite a ways. So, I think we've both changed. I think they're a big power team. That's kind of been their MO for a long time, and they've had those just a bunch of different really good fullbacks and tight ends that they've used, and so you'll see some similarities. I think probably mostly formationally than anything, but I think we're a little different too in the passing game. I think they're probably featuring more 2 tight end sets throwing the ball than we have, but I think there is quite a bit of similarity too.
Now, this year you guys have kind of doing this pulling your linemen. You didn't do a lot of it last year. How do you feel like that transition has gone, and kind of why did you guys decide to do more of that? The linemen that are better, or
Yeah, I think we've been more athletic. We've had the ability to get to the edge better. I don't think we've been okay at times at that. I don't think we were great in the outside zone schemes last week. I thought we got beat to the edge. We didn't think we captured the edge very well and got a lot of push in the backfield. A couple of our negative runs were on some of those stretch plays. So we're working on that. We're moving the linemen a little bit more, but it's been a little bit up and down.
You guys didn't throw a screen pass last week?
We tried, yeah. We had one that didn't count in the plays because they had an offside, but we had tried it, just didn't count. Yeah.
Is there a reason that was not just?
Some of the interior linemen not being very much of a rusher, so the slow rushers, it's almost counterproductive because they're not rushing you where you want them to. If they give a hard rush and they get up the field, then you have that separation. So when you're not rushing great or you're not getting much push in the interior, you're running into a lot of problems. And that's what happened on that play. They were in a lot of man coverage. You've got to start the screen by getting it blocked early. And on the penalty that they jumped offside, they had that backer right on our back on a screen, and he was really covered. So it makes it tough in tight man coverage.
That's been such a big part of your guys' offensive production over the last couple of years. Is that you feel like you have the right personnel to have that be effective this season?
Yeah, I think it's mostly different defensive looks more than anything. I think the 3-4 teams make some of it difficult because of their width. Some teams don't really, 3-4 rush the nose very hard. If he's not a two-gap rusher, he can be a problem in there for some of the interior screens. We've tried some of the perimeter stuff, and at times we've been okay. We've blocked some well. Sometimes we've gotten beat on the perimeter. So it's a work in progress. We'd like to get it going better than it's been, but it hasn't been great for us yet, and we're continuing to work it.
How do you specifically improve that, then? Is that just guys up front?
Yeah, but it's also the perimeter blocks. There's a lot that goes into screens, whether it's timing, whether it's positioning on the block, whether it's the time and the width of the back. Maybe it's a receiver. There's a lot that goes into it, and it's frankly it's difficult to practice because you're not always getting the same rush from your defensive look team. So you try to do some things you do on air, some things you do on bags, some things you do with the scout team. So it's a combination of those different ways of practicing.
Is there a couple guys on that Wisconsin defense that you circle and go watch them?
Yeah, they've got 14's a real good player. Their D end is, I think he's, their whole D lines, they're high motor, high energy. They got a relentless rush. They really haven't had one standout guy. They've just been really solid all the way around. And their linebacking crew, even with the injury to probably their best guy, is still a really solid group. So it's you look at them top to bottom, they're solid and they're physical all the way around.
Talk about young guys like Decker and Hymas. Obviously got to a good start against Illinois Rutgers, but Wisconsin's kind of a different beast. For younger guys like that, is there's something you tell them, going up against a top 10 defense, preparing them for that mentally, physically. What do you tell a couple of freshmen when going up against a challenge like that?
I think they're as freshmen, they're just every game's kind of a new experience for them. But we've really been preaching that if we do the same thing every week and we prepare the same way, then it is another game, and everybody will make it a big game. But we don't have to prepare harder because we're playing Wisconsin than we do Illinois. So I think that's really been kind of really the way we've approached it is we want it to be the same every week, and then we don't have to get up for the big game and act different and give more speeches or do anything crazy. So we're going to do the same thing, go through the same routine as we do every week. And for those young guys, it's just another learning experience, and it's a better defense. So we're going to have to play better than we did last week.
You've had some injuries that the key positions, but you've had younger guys step up as a result. What have you liked about that competition, especially now going forward?
Yeah, I think the nice thing about playing some young guys is you become deeper in a hurry. You know, you get the number ones back, and now you've got a little bit of depth all of a sudden. So I've liked that part of it. I think we've built depth with Hymas, with Decker in the line. You know, I think you've seen some good minutes from Gabe Ron and Reimers. You know, JD's given us good minutes, although he's been kind of a number one in there at the slot. So we are building some depth at receiver. It's nice to be able to have DeMornay and Tyjon rotating. And when we can, we give Stan a break and put Connor Young in there a little bit. So I think all those guys have contributed, and it's made our team deeper.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks.